I didn't know how many things that you were volunteering for.
Just different things. I don't know, whatever I see, if I see an opportunity that I can help.
Tell me about your connection with the immigrant control.
Yeah, it's called the Rapid Response Network. I
Uh,
guess they work with the ACLU, or they're part of the ACLU. I'm not really sure. And there's a bunch of different roles that you can volunteer to do. Like I'm a legal observer. So like there was the protests. I basically wear like a vest, a bright yellow vest that says legal observer on it. And my main job is to record what police do during the protest. I also like volunteered to do food delivery. I drove around. I don't know. I delivered like 12 packages of groceries to different families, especially around, the Hispanic neighborhoods. But I volunteered to go with immigrants to their court cases or to the DMV or something like that. But I haven't been asked to do that yet.
so tell me a little bit more about the food delivery. What is that?
I don't know a whole lot. I just know that I spent a couple hours just driving around delivering bags full of groceries to different families.
How often do you do that?
I've only done it once. I've only seen a thing in the past couple of days. ICE, there have been rumors of ICE coming around, especially to the farms around here, but I haven't heard of anything being verified yet. So it just depends. It's like when people are more worried about leaving, going out or not. So it depends on the activity of ICE around, I guess. Because back in January, even before Trump, remember when the ICE did raids in Kern County here in Bakersfield? That scared a lot of people. But then a lot of it's died down. But I expect it to pick up again. So I don't know.
Now, you went one time to hang out with some immigrants or where they were in jail or something?
Yeah, it was a detention center. It was one of the detention centers that is owned by Geo Corp. They're the ones that own a lot of it's a private prison corporation. And we went there and we visited. I talked to a guy who was from Fiji, who was being deported back to Fiji. And I guess he was of Indian descent and they're like oppressed, I guess, in Fiji. So he's worried about going back. That visit it was odd. It was my first time there and, at the facility talking to people. And he was being deported because he was a felon. He had one of those really bad relationships and he had a restraining order against him, and he broke the restraining order a whole bunch of times, and he ended up in prison because of that, and now he's being deported. And the other guy that we talked to, I didn't talk to him because I don't speak Spanish, but the other couple of people there that were with us, they were talking to him, and he's a drug addict, and he's gotten in trouble a bunch of times for drugs, so he's being deported. So it was like, okay, I understand these guys being deported, and they didn't complain. One guy, the guy going back to Fiji, says that he's trying he needs a hernia operation, so he's trying to stay as long as he can so he can get a hernia operation while he's in detention center. So I'm like, I don't know what to think, and I'm sure a lot of this was just, okay, these are the people we're going to let you see. We're not going to let you see the people that are not doing well. I don't know what to believe. So I still wanted to be there just to let them know, hey, you're a human being, and there are people here to will come and talk to you.
How does that make you feel when you go do something like that?
I don't know. It doesn't really make me feel anything. I just do it because it's the right thing to do. I feel good when people are thankful. It's nice when people show gratitude. And at the same time, I feel bad that the whole thing has to happen. Our society's so screwed up. Glad that I can help out in a way. But, other than that, it's just what I do, I guess.
It's just what you do. It's what you do.
Yeah.
And also what you do is you teach eighth grade science.
Yeah.
Now, how old are eighth grade?
13, 14. Yeah, 13 and 14.
So that's Gen Alpha. Right?
Yeah, they're Gen Alpha. Yeah.
And
they have all that language and stuff and skibbity this and all that other stuff. Yeah.
They do use that language?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, there was a girl who called me Mr. Skibbiday because my last name's Day. So she calls me Mr. Skibbiday.
Skibbiday.
Yeah.
Normally at age 14, that's the age where we're trying everything out and probably
yeah. They're all in the middle of puberty and they're just all hormoned out and trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in the world. They're goofy as hell. They're funny. They make me laugh all the time. Yeah, I mean they're also annoying. but they're just funny because they're goofy and they have no idea. They're just learning how things work for real because, they're just now starting to see the world as not just, oh, I'm a little kid and I live with my mommy and daddy. They're all starting to try to figure out where they belong in the world. And it's hilarious watching them because they just do some of the dumbest things and just goofy things. And they're just funny anyways because they're kids, but
As a teenager, one of the ways we learn is by trial and error.
Right, right.
And usually the first time you try something, you goof it up.
Right.
And teenagers get a bad reputation of being something wrong with them when there's nothing wrong with them. They're just trying to figure it out.
Right, exactly.
I think you have a great attitude for that.
Over the years, I've been teaching middle school since 2009. And over those years, kids have gotten more empathetic and more accepting of each other over the past 16 years that I've been teaching middle school. That's positive.
You see a change. You see a compassionate world that they want to live in.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Because they're the future.
Right. As long as we can get past these next few years.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about the next few years other than people like you are going to make the difference.
Yeah, just pick something and do it, whatever it is. You can't just stick your head in the sand and hide from it and hope it doesn't get you, right? You just got to resist anyways, in any way you can.
Help out in any way you can. Do what you can with what you have where you're at.
I mean, I have the summer off, so I can do more, but.
You were going to start a nursery, but you changed your plans to move next year, but.
Right. I'd still really like to basically have a nursery / beekeeping business and raise bees and have a big nursery of flowers and all that stuff. Sell honey and wax and make mead and sell mead and stuff like that,
Now, are you thinking about having hives that you take to people's property and set it out on people's property? Or?
Maybe. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I just have hives and keep them on my property and just have, acres full of flowers for them and trees and fruit trees and all that stuff and just flowers for things for them to pollinate, sell flowers and plants and honey and mead, something like that.
Tell me about Shimmering Void.
It's my drummer's house. He's 72. He's a retired math professor. He's a hippie. He grew up in LA, in the hippie part of LA. He owns his house and he owns the house next door. And they do Airbnbs with them. But then his house where he lives, the garage is turned into a music room, and that's where our band practices. They also have a lot of sound healing things in there, different things like that. Whenever there's a sound bath, it's always held in the same room that our band practices in. And then there's just they have Tai Qigong every Friday morning. We have karaoke about once a month. They have different workshops. There's a lady here who grows different kind of mushrooms, and there'll be mushroom workshops there, usually at least once a month. There's been other kind of gardening workshops and social justice workshops that they have there. And it's a community. I don't know how many people, when you talk about everybody that goes there for different reasons, there's probably 30 or 40 people. I don't think I know all 30 or 40 of them. I probably know about half of them. I don't know a lot of the people with the mushrooms and different things, but I know a fair number of them, I guess.
I don't have a community.
I don't think many people do.
You're very lucky.
Yeah. I mean, I made it a goal. I don't remember when. I just knew that we needed the only way to survive what's happening because of everything's, the fall of Western civilization. The only way to survive it is to have community. So a few years ago, I started working on trying to build one. And this one, I didn't try to build. I just joined it, through sheer luck of my one band breaking up and finding a new drummer and practicing it at my new drummer's place. And then finding out that he has this big community and just plugging into that.
You plugged in through music?
Yes. Through the music, yeah.
You were a bass player, but you got moved up to lead guitar?
Yeah, we have two guitar players and we both played lead on different songs.
How long have you been playing?
35 years.
Yeah, Dean used to be a musician.
Yeah.
He's got some recording. Tell me again now, you say when they have a birthday, they have a party.
Yeah, usually if someone in part of the communities has a birthday, either on the a lot of times it'll happen on the Sunday morning. We have Sunday morning group meditations. And there's usually about 10, 15 people at that. And usually they'll have a birthday party right after that. Because usually after the meditation, Julie, my drummer's wife, she'll make a big pot of like lentils and rice and just all, they're vegan, so all kinds of different, a big pot of stuff for the people to come meditate. And then if it's somebody's birthday party, she'll make a big, a cake and stuff like that. And then sometimes they'll just decide to have a party for someone's birthday and make a whole separate thing, and then make a big vegan dinner and cake and all that.
So it's an active community.
There's always something going on there.
Their basic idea is healing, right?
Yeah, it's called the Shimmering Void Meditation Center. It's a Zen center, supposedly.
Oh, it's a Zen center. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's called, the Shimmering Void Zen Center. Because he's Roth, he's the drummer, he's a Zen Buddhist. So like I said, he grew up a hippie in LA, and he became a Zen Buddhist. I don't know when, but he's a Zen Buddhist. And so that's what the group meditation is every Sunday. It's in that kind of style. You can do it however you want, but because he runs that meditation stuff.
Well, Brian moving into a 4-bedroom house, and he was saying he wanted to make an ashram. Brian's moving into
okay.
a house and wants to make it an ashram. But right now, he's just hoping to rent the rooms to help him rent. So, and I'm hoping he'll start doing something like get Citizens Assembly started. I've hooked up with, or met this woman, Jay Friday. I think she's from England or Scotland or somewhere. She does the Connection Engine. She does news about all the different communities that are working. And she's saying that it's not a bunch of people working on different things. It's one community working on different parts of the same solution. We are the solution. Now you went to Oregon for 2 weeks, for 2 days, for 4
No, we went there for 5 days, 4 days, 5 days. Yeah.
And you want
4
to
days.
move there next year? Are you retiring next year?
That's the plan, yeah.
And you say you already know some people from Bakersfield there.
I know, well, some of the people I know are related. My stepdad's son and his wife, they're there. Plus, 2 different people I know from Bakersfield that are there. At least that I know, and there's actually more than that, but those are the ones that I went and visited.
Is there anything that you have on your mind that you want to say to the group?
Find a community, build a community of people, find like-minded people and hang out, find things to do together. And then after a while, you'll just build bigger and bigger groups of people with different interests, but y'all kind of start meeting in the same place and start helping each other out, do things. I've had people from that community come and help me mow my pasture and do a bunch of yard work at my house because they were like, hey, do you need anything because I have a half acre and it's a lot to do by myself. And I mentioned that and they were like, oh, we'll just come over to your house and take care of it. And they came over and helped me mow it and weed eat the whole half acre. And I didn't even ask. I was really grateful because I was like, wow, thank you. They just decided to do it.
Like last night after you left, Nathan came in and we talked and I got him to tell me the things he's doing, and he's helping 3, maybe 4 people with projects. That's the new system where people help people because they can, just like you help out wherever you can.
On Wednesday mornings, I go, my friend, it's weird. My friend doesn't belong to that church, but every Wednesday he's retired. He was in the Army and he's got like medical things, so he's retired. So every Wednesday that church feeds lunch to homeless people. So every Wednesday he goes there. So I've been going there with him because I'm off now for the summer. So I've been going over there. And again, it makes me feel good that I'm helping, but it's still sad, the amount of people and how they treat each other. Because, I was there one time. There was a guy who saw another guy there, and he's all, that guy jumped me and hit me in the head with a pipe and stole stuff from me. It was like a big old ordeal. So it's just really sad to see the lives that people have to live. But
they're in survival mode.
Yeah, exactly. That our society produces this. you know.
In California, have we made it against the law to be homeless?
I believe so.
I know they've done it, and some states have made it
There's still homeless camps all over here, all over Bakersfield. So it's not like they're going in through, and picking them all up and putting them in camps or anything.
Well, they're planning on it.
That's what it seems like.
Were we talking about that last night, the alligator Alcatraz?
Yeah, alligator Auschwitz. I'm pretty blessed that I can give back, and I'm not in constant fight or flight mode like a lot of people are.
And you're in the union?
Yeah, the teachers union. Yeah, I used to be the vice president for 8 years. I'm still on the negotiating team that negotiates our contract. So we come up with agreement. We go, we negotiate. We decide, when it's time to negotiate the contract. If the whole contract is up for negotiation, which happens like every 4 years, but then that every year, I think we can choose 2 or 3 parts of the contract to negotiate, and then they can choose 2 or 3 parts of the contract to negotiate. And we always want to negotiate pay. So that's always one of the things we always negotiate. And a lot of times we'll negotiate usually we want to negotiate health benefits too. And then just whatever else, we'll run a poll and see what other things that they want us to talk district about, and we'll choose some of those topics to negotiate too. Once we come up with a tentative agreement, the district takes it to the school board, and the school board has to okay it. The union takes it to our membership, and the membership has to vote on it and okay it. And once the school board okays it and our membership okays it, then it's a binding contract.
Why is it that we pay teachers so little?
I get paid a lot.
Oh,
I do. But but like I said, we have a really strong union, and I'm on the negotiating team. So I get paid really good. But I know in lots of other states and in other districts too, it's just seen as a second thought, you're just a babysitter kind of thing. My school district's one of the highest paid school districts in our county.
That reminds me, you won some kind of award or something, didn't you?
Yeah. Our school district was there was a big article about our school district and a couple others across the nation who basically, it was in the New York Times. There was a big article about us and a couple other districts in the U.S. because our school district brought test scores. During COVID, everybody's test scores dropped really bad during COVID. And we brought ours back up to where they were before COVID, like within a couple of years. So it was a big thing on the New York Times about us doing that. And then we haven't got an award from the state yet. We got an award from the county superintendent of schools. And we were also in a magazine, World News Report. And there was an article, we were in there as we're in like the top 8% of middle schools, and my particular school is like the top 8% or top 5% of middle schools in the U.S., which is all crazy considering Delano's a small little farming community in Central California. It's all surrounded by grape fields and pistachio orchards.
When we had COVID, did they close the school?
Yeah, we taught online. That was miserable because the kids weren't paying attention. You were basically talking to a bunch of blank screens. It was on Zoom, and the kids, you could watch them playing video games while you're teaching. They're not paying any attention. They're just there.
So what I was going to ask you, have you noticed any effects on the students from that?
Oh, yeah. There's a much bigger group of kids, because like last year, those kids were in 4th grade when COVID hit. 4th grade's a pretty important, as far as math goes, multiplication and stuff like that. There was so many kids that and math is always a hard subject in school for lots of kids, especially in middle school. But there was a huge amount of kids who just didn't get multiplication and division at all. And obviously it's because they weren't, because it was all during online, and it's not the same. The teacher can't really make you pay attention. I took a whole bunch of college classes online, and they were great. And I learned everything because I was paying attention, and because I'm paying for this class and I want to learn the material, I have an Associate's of Science in Forestry. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Resource Management. I have a master's degree in Education Administration. I've been the vice president of the Teachers Union for 8 years. I was the board director of a heathen organization for 5 or 6 years. So I have a lot of experience. But if you're in middle school, you don't want to be there. You don't give a shit. You're going to play video games, look on your friend, talk to your friends on the phone and whatever.
So what do kids do nowadays?
Video games, social media, YouTube. TikTok's always got these challenges for kids to screw up things at school. Last year there was the stick of pencil lead in the end of the charge port of the Chromebook, make it overheat and catch on fire. Yeah, it didn't happen at our school district, but it happened at Wonderful Academy, which is run by Wonderful Pistachios. That billionaire, he has a couple of charter schools. He has one in Delano and one in Lost Hills. A bunch of kids, they lost a few computers from kids doing that because of that TikTok challenge. The year after maybe 2 years after the pandemic, when kids were back in school, they were destroying our bathrooms on a weekly basis because of TikTok. Because it was a TikTok challenge where it's like, film yourself destroying, ripping the phone things off the wall or the soap dispensers off the wall in the bathroom. And then kids were just doing it and then getting in trouble. It was just all ridiculous, but kids were still doing it because TikTok told them to. When did I get on TikTok? Maybe like 6 months before the Gaza thing happened. I wasn't on TikTok very long and then the whole October, whatever day that was. And then they started freaking killing everybody. Israel started just killing everyone in Palestine after that. So that was probably about 6 months after I got on TikTok.
We're not going to solve the problem, but we can alleviate some of the suffering through the work that you're doing and coordinating people to work together, have a better future. I want to appreciate your time, Alex.